Hello everyone, my name is Itel Santiago. So do you know what a social movement is? Well, as defined by Wikipedia, a social movement is a loosely organized effort by a large group of people to achieve a particular goal, typically a social or political one. So social movements can date back to even before the 21st century, where people protest against the injustices of the government. Right now, we are living through a social movement called the Black Lives Matter movement, where they're exposing systemic racism and how it plays a big role in the society that we live in. First, I would like to discuss the history of the Black Lives Matter movement. This movement dates back to 2013, where according to the article, An Existential Humanistic Perspective on Black Lives Matter and Contemporary Protest Movement states that a man named George Zimmerman shot a young boy named Trayvon Martin in 2012, and he was never prosecuted for the death of Trayvon Martin. And this movement was the beginning of showing us the racism that exists between citizen to citizen. But the official start of the Black Lives Matter movement didn't begin until, I said, 2013. And as the article I mentioned before also quotes that Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza, and Opal Tomoti were the three women who started the Black Lives Matter movement. The way that they started it was that Garza made a post on Facebook titled "A Love Note to Black People." Cullors later posted that post on Twitter and with the hashtag Black Lives Matter. This movement died away for a couple of years, but officially made a strong comeback in 2020. In the article, From a George Floyd Movement to a Black Lives Matter Movement in tweets, this time Floyd's murder ignited a wave of national and then global protests, a wave that is leading to changes in symbols of racism. It was this specific action that made people furious towards the government and created a protest all around the world. And this time, it was more obvious that people were protesting against the systemic racism and injustices in the criminal justice system. Secondly, I would like to talk about what people are protesting about. So, as a video shares titled "A Portrait of the Black Lives Matter Protests in the USA," it says that racism is embedded into our society, and more specifically into the criminal justice system, where Black people cannot escape based on the color of their skin. So how people are protesting. So an article titled "Twitter Amplifies Black Lives Matter Statements in US Protest Cities" shows that Twitter is one of the main platforms in which people are voicing their opinions about what's going on, and also giving information to people who want to join the movement, who want to know what's going on, what changes are being made to the protests, but specifically about the actual in-person protests that are occurring. It is another way that people are trying to make their voices heard, going out, picking signs, and showing exactly what they are for. Third, I would like to talk about the laws and changes that have come from this movement. In the article, What the 2020 Black Lives Matter protests have achieved so far gives changes that have occurred, such as police being prosecuted for their actions of killing people of color, no-knock warrants, which do not allow officers to barge into people's homes. This followed the Breonna Taylor death. They banned illegal chokeholds, and they also are getting rid of Confederate monuments. Their businesses are being more inclusive to their people of color, and the LAPD is going even as far to allocating their funds of around $100 to $150 million to give to jobs, education, and healthcare. Further changes that are occurring are, according to the Black Lives Matter Global Network response to the United States Senate passage of the First Act, a criminal reform package. This new reform is decreasing mass incarceration of people of color. Another reform that is occurring is in another article, Victory of the Right to Know, Bill on Police Transparency is signed into California law, is a bill that gives people of color's families the right to know what has happened to them within the criminal justice system and how it led to their death. In conclusion, the social movements can take time and a lot of effort in order to achieve. And being able to experience the social movement this day is very amazing because we're able to see the changes that people are creating. And it is exposing how people of color are less fortunate in this country and how the Black Lives Matter movement is making headlines and giving people something to talk about and something to think. Thank you for your time.